taking or taking a site, also you're losing out. But these are all questions that are going to be answered after we load into game between Catface and 10X GC for our first match here, seeing them face off against each other in the Swiss stage.
Yeah, this is definitely an uphill battle, I feel like, for 10X as well. Catface was a team that really made a name for themselves, I think, throughout the last couple of years of Game Changers, and just continuing to kind of like level up. And we saw insane gameplay. MEOW was one of the best Sentinels, it felt like, last stage as well. Now, seeing her slotting into that Omen is a bit of a change in pace for her too, but quickly telegraphed by 10X over towards this elbow control and very passive positioning on the side of Catface here to play off the trip.
Yeah, Seal just jumped straight over the tripwire, but that was still an issue because iBUYPOWER was there. Takes her down, and now inside of the smoke, impossible to deal with. Sober Sushi and Rosie do get into the site, and we're all equaled out at 3-on-3, but 10X don't seem like they want to plant the spike just yet. Challenging up in shop. Only Animal here and faced up into 2. Absolutely no way to get out of there already. Catface on the prowl. These double duelists making work. And poor Sober Sushi in a 1-on-2 now has to bring the fight into them. 3 kills onto the round, but can't make it a 4th. Catface strike first.
Oh, it's a nice attempt to try and bring that round back there for 10X. They make it close considering how that round initially started. I love the call to push up over towards A-Link as well, knowing that the quick rotation was coming in and not looking to get flooded in a retake scenario as they try to get that spike initiated, really taking the fight to them in that regard.
I'm out of here.
Now, okay, we've got iBUYPOWER is actually the one on the Outlaw. Usually you see Icy picking up an Outlaw or Marshall going into round number 2. Instead, Cypher's going to be playing a little forward this time around.
Ooh. Can't connect on that shot. The Neon just a little bit too quick. The adjustment on the tight angle. How much further are 10X going to go? Already 1 tripwire dealt with. Good stun onto Sin, but 10X aren't out of this smoke quickly enough. Playing a little bit reserved here. Now 5 come through the smoke, and nobody falls. A little bit ridiculous. Forces Animal to get active, get into the thick of things. And now the rest of Catface are here. It looked good at the start for 10X. But now Eli forced on back. There's just nothing doing. 4 on the round for Animal. Good work out of her.
A beautiful clean rounds here on the side of MEOW.
Let's kill them before they plant next
So
time,
far,
okay?
first 2 rounds seems like 10X are going to lean towards like these very telegraphed plays. Now that we do have weapons online, I'm curious to see if that will continue to be the name of the game. It does feel a little inevitable considering the way that they're looking to set up Seal for those engagements, but at the same time, it also gives that opportunity for MEOW to get a very quick read and fast response to the aggression that's been coming out from the attackers.
Could also just be trying to punish A for the lack of breach
Be right back.
in that defender comp, but they're mixing it up this round. That's an op on Icy. Icy
Bye-bye.
has the door closed behind, and we'll have to slip on back there. The door, a little bit of added protection. But already, Catface are adjusting. Without that door being broken, you really center up around the top mid-fight.
Talking from the drone here as well. Gonna allude to the fact that it's clear, but you see now MEOW has also walked up outside of B, triggered that wall on the flank. Much more aggressive trips this time around as well. Give an earlier
50
signal.
posted up. Smoke comes in. And the stun to follow. Good utility from 10X if anyone was playing on the site, but it's full off-site hold from Catface, getting ready for a quick little retake in. But when you consider there's a Bucky, a couple of sniper rifles, it's going to be hard for Catface to really go anywhere here. Kind of need Seal to step up into their faces. That's the first kill for Rosie. Nice work, and Seal unable to adjust onto that one. Catface might have a way in with all these smokes going down, trying to create the maximum amount of chaos possible. These crossfires are just too good out of 10X. They'll take it cleanly.
Yeah, really nice setup there into the post plant, just trying to delay that CT retake for as long as possible. A solo hold by Seal in the post plant in that regard, and a great reply with that relay bolt that we actually saw coming out. But Now that's also a big punish on MEOW as well, because we saw the investment into the operator in that round. Icy now stuck onto a judge in this one. They're going for this heavy A stack, looking to have that Cypher swap over to B here.
Yeah, after the early conditioning of full offsite A, now they've got a Paranoia up on the line. Stun comes in, but the counter Paranoia is there. Steal with the first. Lunafox quick on the response, and even then, looking for a little bit extra. Now as the one-way comes down, the round will settle out for a bit.
Just taking a beat. I like the setup that we see on that B side there as well. Sure, they can take that market control, but you've got a little cross with those trips, and TNX instead look to walk up over towards mid with the smoke on the left side. Nice vines to delay any swing from Habuti as well.
That elbow fight going Lunafox's way makes this walkthrough so difficult, especially with Habibti taking that timing, peeking back into top mid. Catface done a really good job of recognizing where the gaps in their defense are and filling into them as necessary. Habibti maybe filling in a little bit too much there. He does open up the way into the B site, but 10X are still really taking their time.
Look at this call, too, from Catface. Like, a full rotation, but they're going to go opposite sides, back into, like, attacker's spawn. It seems like these two teams have, like, swapped halves at this point. At first, I thought they were going to go for, like, a full save on the side of 10X, but instead pick that spike back up, and we'll secure this backside plant here. And it's just super low, though, waiting for this mid-wrap.
Catface all grouped together. There's the right approach to get back into the site. Dealing with that breach is going to be the first condition Honeywell has to clear. First kill goes Eli's way, now stuck back onto the site. So much pressure for them to deal with.
One enemy remaining.
Clock not even a factor yet, but Animal is early onto the angle. And all of a sudden stepping forward is Lunafox to take 3 in the round.
Really nicely done there by MEOW. The fact that they're all able to group up into a storm as well and just get the information necessary to be able to wrap back around over in that B site, really playing that numbers advantage in the 3v2, knowing that 10X could be anywhere on the defender side, you know, waiting for those rotations to be caught. Now we look into this next round here, Ender. You've got Steel Garden available for Eli, so opportunity to try and push players off these sites. You can see how they are going to be playing further back on B as well, just keeping that market control, kind of anticipating the potential of that ult to come through, but the lurk is instead over at A.
Early scouting into mid doesn't amount to much there for Icy. Kind of waiting to see what information 10X is going to give them. Which so far isn't a whole lot of anything, just breaking that door as they've done the last few rounds. For resetting back into A. That's where Sin has an opportunity to really catch 10X off guard with his judge in hand, playing right up on the tripwire, and even having a Bibty bait for Sin just a little bit. That'll be the first shot coming through. Some good damage allows Habibti to clean up another. But 2 for 2 isn't exactly what Catface were hoping for here.
No, and again, this CT alley control for Seal looking to contest.
It's always a forward fight in the post plant, isn't it?
It definitely
And this
is.
time Lunafox is going to bring that attention right back at Seal.
Blow down.
Lunafox goes down, though. So another challenger approaches as Seal goes sliding straight into Icy. I don't know about that one. And now 10X start to crumble on multiple sides of the map. JJ shouts up forward. And now the Rolling Thunder on 13 HP. The teleport into JJ. What is that? She's going to take the round, no problem.
A Red Bull clutch coming in there by JJ, but man, for Animal, such a risk to be taking with that TP over, maybe hoping that JJ was looking into the wall with the flash out. I'm not really sure what the plan was there, but we are going to deal with like a little tech pause here for a moment as you guys bear with us while we wait to get back into game.
Yeah, the word on the street is a player disconnected, and usually you want to be connected. So
Ideally,
you want to play a 5v5, so we're going to hit the pause button and wait for us to get our fifth back. In the meantime, you can enjoy scenic sunset. The Los Angeles Tourism Board, I think, is who's bringing this to you.
Gorgeous.
Although nothing's being sold in market. That's what really surprises me about this, is that you just can't. There's nothing being sold there.
What do you mean?
It's the middle of the afternoon too.
You know what? That's true. We just did see like the shutters down on that one shop. Like I know they've got like the breakfast place back there. You got boba as well. You drink boba?
The boba shop better be open, or I'm gonna freak out. That's the one thing we've got here in LA is good boba. You can't take that away from me. See, the pawn shop is closed. No one's been in that in years. That was a consequence of COVID. Everyone's doing online shopping now.
What's your bubble tea order? It's a real question.
A bubble tea order? That's okay. I mix up. I think like a classic house milk tea can never go wrong.
Real.
Like that's how I judge my boba shops.
Yeah.
But I also love a peach tea with the boba and lychee. I'm a lychee head.
I'm a grass jelly girl myself, actually.
Oh, I respect that. Heavy respect on that game.
Love grass jelly. Also love the lychee jelly, or like even just like rainbow jelly too. Those are definitely in my faves. Tapioca's like every once in a while. Instead of classic milk tea though, my go-to if I'm trying a place to see if it's good, I will raise you a roasted milk tea instead, because I love like the toasty nutty flavor.
Okay, yeah, that's super valid. As a matter of fact, I will double down on the toasted flavor and say that my favorite boba I've ever had in my life was in Paris, from a place that they did like a black sesame.
Oh my god.
Which, yeah, that rocked my world.
That sounds insanely delicious.
Yeah, black sesame milk tea. Oh, I want to. You know what? Honestly, if any of you are going to Champs and you want the boba place, DM me. I will give you the boba place. I will hook it up. You will not go without the best boba in Paris.
We're about to have like an influx. You're gonna be like, they should have you posing with the boba, like as a sign. As I feel like, I saw like a couple ads with like Jing posing for some food shops.
Yeah,
as well.
and I'm easily as famous, if not more famous than Jing. So.
I think that is factual. You do not see me denying that whatsoever. But as we wait for this player to reconnect here, Ender.
Yes.
I mean, I feel like we are seeing 10x like very comfortably get onto these sites. The post plants have been going well there. I think it was like a really great response coming out from JJ in that 1v1 scenario up against, well, it was actually a 1v2 initially. But at the same time, I feel like for the side of Catface, this is a team where they're going to get those reads like really quickly as well. And I'm kind of curious what like the depth of 10x is going to be as we carry on into Sunset, because of the fact that this breach composition has been used so frequently historically on this map. I feel like everyone has a very good understanding of how to play up against this comp. So I'm really looking to see how they're going to dig deep as this game goes forward.
Yeah, and you also just are challenged a lot when you are playing the meta comp, let's say, versus like, okay, how often have you played against a Waylay solo duelist on this map? Not to mention the fact there's a Neon there also. You have to constantly like update your approach heading into the map, because I think the start of this game, it's been all about crushing A, because the very easy thing to identify is there's no breach on the other side. So the only way to fully lock down A main is with an early paranoia, which we saw one time. But as the rounds have gone on and on, it's been a bit of a struggle actually holding on in the post plant. So do we stop hitting A entirely? Do we just adjust how we play the post plant? Do you want to like get an insert in elbow and then reset the rally? There's a lot of different ways you can approach playing out of that, even if you want to like keep abusing the breach, but we haven't seen that level of depth yet, like that you're talking about.
And I think the other thing too is we we are seeing Habibti be very dynamic with her placement of like a lot of those Cypher trips.
True.
Like she's having them like really bunkered on site sometimes. She's had them really far forward, like that one round that we just saw with Sin pushed up with the judge over in elbow and really looking to catch maybe 10x off guard in some of those pacing moments that they're looking to take. So something that team's definitely going to have to keep an eye out for as they continue on in this attacking half. But I am liking what I'm seeing so far. I think 10x has been doing a pretty decent job of trying to change things up round for round as well. They did some conditioning over towards A before shifting over towards like that early B hit and then the mid re-clear. So the general like macro ideas as far as ensuring that they are reclaiming and re-clearing that space have been nice to see in the dynamicism so far in their approach to attack.
Well, I'm getting word that we have players rejoining TeamSpeak and trying to sort things out, so hopefully it won't be too much longer. I did see an interesting message in the chat, Ash. How is there a tech pause if they are not in stage? Now, I would like to address this by saying, have you ever been on your computer doing anything and then, I don't know, something goes wrong, your internet turns off, do you know what the blue screen of death is? That doesn't just happen on the stage, team.
You have Windows as your OS.
Anywhere.
Just having Windows as your OS sometimes.
I want to be the blessed chatter that has never had a tech issue in their life and thinks that it's impossible to have a tech issue. Also have a lot of people without boba, but we're going to ignore them and get back into the game, thankfully. It is a little bit of an eco now that Catface are being forced onto, coming out of losing that last round, as well as basically every ult in the game just about up and available.
That is true, and you don't have the overdrive available here for Green Fox either. There's an attempt to walk up, but the scan's going to come out regardless, and now the signal for 10x to scale back over towards this A side, but they don't seem aware that many players are actually hovering over towards mid. A little death ball approach to Catface.
Yeah. Catface ready to pop out of the smoke in just a moment. As Rosie gets tagged up. Here goes Luna, Sheriff in hand. Actually, Waylay ultimate committed into things. That might not pay off. It doesn't seem to be at the very least. 10x holding their ground well. Now, completely enveloping these two members of Catface. Animal and Sin trying to fight their way out with the one player on the side, and Animal's got a great little pocket to work off of here. Not tagged up by the dart. It's a 4K for Animal to win out on the eco.
Massive thrifty round there for Animal. Perfect reposition to dodge that utility as well, and a little crossfire to be held there. Now timeout to be called there by 10x after they
Why
lost the
call
spike
it?
on
We
site.
just had a 5-minute. I know the coaches can't help, but come on, guys. That's
You know what?
crazy.
Sometimes you get a little. Maybe they're getting a little goofy during the tech pause. You know, they got to bring themselves back down to earth. I feel like that's what I hear the most from Game Changers teams when they call timeouts. Is it's not like always going to be that strategic timeout, but sometimes they just get a little bit too hyped. They're having a little bit of fun in chat, and they're like, okay, guys, we
I'm
got
not
to
gonna
lock in.
lie. There was ones with Teddy where we had a tech pause into a round rollback. We originally lost the round. The round was rolled back, and then we won the round. And I immediately called a timeout because I wanted the other team to sit on that.
Yeah, wait, that's evil. That is so evil of you.
I also probably said something of value. Probably
Oh
my
my
team would
God.
probably tell me that I didn't, but that's fine.
That's like another level of psychological warfare right there.
I like a good ice timeout. They're good content, if nothing else.
That is true. That is true. It's always funny.
I mean, is that? I guess it's 10x calling it. If Catface had called this timeout, that would really be iconic. You win
That
the
would be.
eco
That'd be
coming out of the
super
tech,
BM.
and then, whew. But now it's actually 10x onto the eco, so a little bit of back and forth rounds here between the squads. Looks like 10x want to get into this mid space early on, but nothing too quickly. Just need to break this door before they accomplish anything else.
Yeah, I like the scale up over towards A here as well. Like, not seeing that breach utility being used right off the gate, kind of that signal to try and find a little bit more space off the back of the recon getting information.
Yeah, you also have a Bibty Back over on the B side again. After playing so many of those early rounds towards A. Confidence trying to keep 10X guessing.
Okay.
Oi, says Seal before saying nothing again, ever again. Well, I don't know about Lunafox there. That's a tough little whiff there. Actually, pulling so many rotates over. You've got JJ in the middle of 4 players. All the while, Eli's setting up this lurk over onto the B site. 10X aren't really into the site. This neural theft gives up the entire game from 10X. Just really unfortunate they had to run into exactly that, but as Sober Sushi finds a kill, what in the world is happening? There's fights everywhere. Everyone's just looking for a timing. It seems like Rosie's the only player to consistently be winning out on them. So now Hunter's Fury gets involved. Sin with a brilliant tag. Evens up the score 2-2 and even gets a fadeaway shot onto the Vise. Things are getting messy now into the post plant. Only one shock on Sin. Plenty of utility for 10X to play off of with that breach.
Harder to swing
Still
off that now.
Catface that have to move first. That's done. Huge tag, but no capitalization. No kills to follow. And now some shots going through the wall. It could be Catface. Still taking this. The stick to half and the shots from Icy mean that they take it.
You failed.
It's a great retake, but I did like the play that we saw over towards that B site as well. We have the Steel Garden come out, and it gets paired with that paranoia to make it impossible for Animal to try and find something before her gun gets taken away. But overall, I mean, it is great utility coming out from the side of Catface. Out from Sin in particular, getting that information, making it difficult. Play that swing into the post plant.
Switch it
Off
up.
the back.
Just for
But
fun.
you have to keep in mind, that was also an eco round there for 10X.
Shadows traveling.
Back onto even footing in this round. But again, Catface sticking to Lunafox, creeping up into A. You can see trying to get in front of that one way a little bit on a more forward angle to see if 10X are ready to have multiple people swinging around the corner. But no refresh on that smoke. Does discourage Lunafox from sticking up too far forward. Will break away the Vise util, but that doesn't give too much information over to where the rest of 10X is going to be.
Triggered.
Deep trips here as well, coming out from Habibti. Making it awkward to try and cross over into that site, and Shock Dart's not able to find anything either.
Smoke's down, the volley of util is in. And
barrel.
Seal peeking through the smoke. That's a bad idea. 2 players were lying in wait. Catface have done a great job consistently of dealing with this aggression towards their own spawn and now continuing on the attack themselves. Sober Sushi gets a couple, but that spike is now out in the middle of nowhere. It's a 2-on-2.
30 seconds.
10X have to
One
regroup,
enemy
have to recover
remaining.
the spike. That's going to be no problem as long as JJ is shooting like that. And if Ibti doesn't have the gun out, that'll be a problem. 10X get another.
Really nicely done. I think what I'm really enjoying out of the game plan from 10X is they're not afraid to take that beat to fight into one of those extremities when they know that Catface are looking for one of those like quick floods back onto that site. Got now another change coming in from the Cypher here as well. Shifting that trip back over towards top mid as Eli has been finding some of those timings to
Move.
get the lurk around.
Gotta go. Shocking.
Luna, early stun to post up on the line. One way a little bit delayed coming all the way over from the B site, but it's enough to give that orb to Icy, so now the Waylay ult online. Defensive
Rip
Cameron
and
bottom
dare.
mid, spots out the lurk.
Nice replayer with the
All
drone.
comfortable work early done from 10X to pull some attention into top mid.
I think that pressure is just super important. Just trying to take any value from that tripwire down early.
Cool. Sin ready for that line. Sees the lurk and now head fully on a swivel. With Lunafox falling down early, things are getting really ugly on site. Icy was considering popping the X, but now just trying to dodge away from paranoias. One shot's all that's going to be found for them. And now this ultimate, I mean, what in the world is happening? I had to do a double take there. Animal just ulted straight into a breach, Bucky in hand, now has a gun, can actually fight back into the site, but will be held for. Rosie gets 2 and 10X get another.
Incredibly competitive game between these two teams so far. I feel like it's just been a back and forth of on a lot of those dynamic ideas. I feel like I'm saying that word so much today, but it really,
but it's valid.
Yeah,
it is.
It really is. With how much these both teams are really changing things up consistently round for round, and we really do see 10X like digging their heels deep to bring those new ideas and adapt on the fly depending on how Catface are playing.
Maybe another early fight here into A. Lunafox diving down into mid with the ultimate primed and ready. Paranoia, I mean, it's pandemonium. JJ finds the first shot in towards Tiles, but not before long, not before the rest of the teams get involved in this. Even the Sentinels are ready to show up into the thick of things.
Timing.
15 posted up on the line, but Eli's waiting for it, and it's 10X who come out massively ahead.
Ooh, nice read here from Icy. Well, expecting that rotation over towards E, but not much else they're going to be able to do as 10X look to tie things up 5-5. And again, Catface, they're this team under where these are players that have been around the Game Changers scene for quite some time. They have so much experience. Meanwhile, for 10X, they're more of these almost like rookie players for the most part. There's definitely experience under their belts, but not at like the main event level like the players on the side of Catface right now, right? So the fact that they're keeping it so close, I think speaks volumes as to what the potential of this team could be.
And winning 3 in a row after the timeout as well. You can see they're making the right adjustments on the fly. Hard to adjust to that. I think Icy just held W and then didn't stop. Got that kill, no problem. Forces 10X now to play a slower game without the Neon to break their way into a site and rely perhaps on some of these lurks into B.
Showing that lurking presence once again, but just continuing to challenge.
Wow.
Over towards mid. Lunafox going down there when they had that advantage.
Animal can't complete the task there. But Habibti again on the other side of things. 2-on. How many rounds have come down into just a 2-on-2 in the post plant? This time scanning around. Sober Sushi's got plenty of util. The ultimate and a couple of shocks. The 10X are playing up on site. Instead of falling back into main. Could be unexpected. Sober Sushi out in the open. That allows Jeje to reposition. Beautiful. Stepping out of the expected position. Now on that off angle and again creeping back into it. The yawn, I think, is just the cherry on top there.
So damn crispy. Like 14-7 right now for the Breach player in that round. They didn't even need any Breach utility to really open things up for themselves. And this is a player where you guys might not be familiar with her name within Game Changers NA, but originally had those roots over in the EMEA scene, playing on teams like Gamax, as well as the very early iteration of Nasser Ignite as well. And it's just kind of crazy how we see these players shifting region for region, and we get very much so finding themselves at home. Okay, wait.
Luna, that didn't pay off, did it? Rosie found the shots there. 10X aren't speeding up. They're still playing it a little bit calm. Expecting Icy and the rest of Catface to get aggro on the other side. And now 10X are just going to adjust and hit back into the cycle.
Scatter.
Ultimate over into elbow. Bibty can hear that. Yeah. Bibty could do some work. Just the stinger in hand. That's the tripwire. And Seal is ready on the angle. That A site belongs to 10X.
Nice delay here over towards Ator, and a great Steel Garden already ready. The little peek over the dark cover. Let's do a bit of that chip damage.
Steel Garden comes on through. Eli out on the swing. And here go 10X. That utility, I wouldn't want to be Icy. That is brutal. 10X, ever since that timeout, have just been lights out. And they're going to go into the second half up 7-5.
Flawless round there for 10X to be able to cement that lead as we send into that second half. 5 rounds in a row for this team. And MEOW, they kick things off with taking the pistol. Like you were saying, the adjustments were so good coming out from this team. I'm not exactly certain who's actually calling for the likes of 10X GC, but you know that their coach Santi probably had a lot to say in those rounds to be able to get the team into the right place here when it comes down to how they're looking to approach this game. And now on defense, it's just, you know, classic breach utility over towards A lobby.
You've seen it before a million times. You love it or you hate it. We'll see if the double duelist can break it apart. I mean, already we're in front of the utility. A second player in, but Neon stun connected anyways. Seal holds firm into elbow. JJ comes in for a little support on the escape as well. The retreat turns into a fight, as a matter of fact. And in mid, that'll be 10X coming up big as well. Catface, their only hope here now into the hands of Sin and Icy. And Icy, oh so low, trying to get in front of the utility, but a flash is gonna blind the eyes and take out any hope of this. It'll be Sober Sushi with another couple kills.
I feel like this pistol round was kind of indicative of a few of the issues that we were seeing on Catface earlier in the first half. Like some of those spacing problems that come into play. Yes, you are able to have like the Neon and Waylay catch up to each other, but even there, like the spacing timing wasn't quite right for Icy to actually have that support initially in elbow, and then Lunafox follows up, but after Icy's already taken the refract back and isn't able to actually go for that trade, nobody else can scale up because of that fault line, right? And I felt like we saw a lot of those hero plays coming in on the defense as well, where they had those ideas, they had a good plan, but when it came down to the actual execution, they were just missing.
Well, same plan and similar execution. I mean that very much in the sense that Seal just sat Lunafox down. Even gets a little support flash to peek back onto the angle. Sober Sushi trying to get involved as well. I mean, this is a hunt down your ecos type of round in the best possible sense. 10X aren't giving up any territory over on this line, and it's going to pay off for them. Another 3 kills for the Sova player, just farming up towards that Hunter's Fury. And the round closes out without much drama.
You can definitely feel like 10X has that momentum that they've built up since round 8. Being able to take away that second pistol round as well, putting them in a great position here early on into the second half. And a very strong bonus to be coming through on top of all of that as well. I think part of the struggle right now for MEOW is even though they have so much in their kit when it comes down to catching those timings off guard, right? Trying to beat that breach utility, they don't have the same kind of util that's actually going to be able to assist both the Waylay and the Neon once they are able to push up onto those aggressive angles.
Speaking of those aggro lines, a couple of parting shots between Icy and Rosie there. They each take some damage, but the Outlaw wins out massively, both in the penetration factor, just the raw damage of 1 bullet as well. Catface haven't really committed to this. It's really Animal holding the extremities into A with that tripwire down. Spike still back in spawn, even as Luna peeks up into market and finds that first kill. Poor Vise, realizing there's 3 different avenues that the attackers can be approaching from, and guessing wrong on which one to actually hold. Catface have secured the site. Still have to go back and grab the spike. They're going to let the fastest player in the game do that with the Neon. While Sin mops up market. No problems there on the anti-bonus.
Now, flawless round here to conclude on the side of Catface. I think what we're going to continue to look forward to and look towards on the side of Catface is also how they're managing up against that Vice utility. We saw the swarm that occurred over at B just now, but at the same time, that was also just a bonus round on the side of 10X. They stacked a little bit differently to try closer to A to try and have a little bit of that advantage. But the utility does also make it a bit more difficult for these heavy dive agents to find purchase on those sites.
We've already seen a few times Icy diving in, getting hit by util, and even just escaping backwards. You know, maybe you don't die, but it is still hard to get past all of this, especially when 10X are fighting so aggressively for A main control. Seal all the way up there and posted on the angle. And JJ didn't actually have to use that stun at start of round, so the whole time Seal was looking forward was on the line. The other side, though, Eli doesn't have the support of a Paranoia. Doesn't necessarily need it. 1-for-1 is good enough, and Rosie will still be here to hold on this side. But again, it's Catface attacking everywhere on the map. B main, A main, mid, it's all over the place. But they're banking on the individual prowess of their players to come up with something. That's not going to happen, though, when 10X bring the fight to them. Now Animal gets involved into things. Icy is still back in elbow. The spike is now coming into main. Seal is wondering, why are there people on every single side of me? And why is JJ there when the site should belong to us? Nothing seems to make any sense whatsoever, least alone that jump peek from Sin. Now through the smoke with 20 seconds left, she's not going to stick the spike, but maybe she should have. Out in the open without eyes. Rosie takes her out.
Great Paranoia to respond coming out from Rosie, and double digits here from 10X. Catface have only been able to find one round in the last 8. Otherwise, it's been 10X all the way.
Since the timeout, by the way.
That's just insane. Like, these players have felt electric. The two initiators in particular have been holding their more than their own when it comes down to not just utility, but some of the multi-kills that we see coming in on some of these rounds.
A lot of noise up into mid this time. Last time it was a calm walk into market before finding a pick. This time, Catface really trying to sell the fact that they've got bodies in the mid space. They broke one wall with the door over there. There's still a Vise wall top mid that they could try to spot out if they want, but instead, getting involved right behind that drone. Eli still here though, but with people swinging out from every single angle, there's just nothing that can be done. Good fire back from Sober Sushi. And to find the lurk. Actually, wait, Sin found 2 kills. Thought the lurk was dealt with, but it's still very much on the cards. Anchors falling. And the map exploding in 10X's face.
1v4 here for Sober Sushi to take this one home. Full kit available, but you consider the economic situation for the team despite having won those first few rounds. Yeah, a lot of these rounds have been right down to the wire. A lot of those 2v2s that we had given a nod to earlier.
Didn't realize, but had a whole lot of sushi in today's broadcast.
Yeah, we actually did.
Gal sushi, got Sober Sushi. I don't really know what that implies, but
Just sushi
we're eating good.
Just like
Nice to see Catface back on the board here too.
That is for sure. Having the ability to put a stop to that bleeding, I think, is huge for the team. They're definitely a very momentum-based squad as well, with Icy really heating up in series.
Don't give them time to reposition.
They've been playing well the entire time, just trying to take some of those timings with the Waylay. But again, with the risks that you're taking, without, as the Waylay player, it's so hard for the rest of your team to find that follow-up, try and get that spacing down pat. And you can see a huge adjustment now on the side of 10X when they are on this eco with the hero rifle, a full lean over towards this B site, somewhere that we haven't really seen JJ actually posted up as that breach. They've done the conditioning with that A presence.
Yeah, and they do the same conditioning. Dart and smoke into A while this fight comes into B. Eli falling quickly to try and sell that there's only one person on this side of the map. Seal, already with ultimate popped, ready to go. Catface decide not to continue into the site, however. Instead, freezing, cutting noise, and trying to bait 10X into rotating away from the site, which is exactly what's happening.
Looking for a soft re-clear over towards mid before a re-hit on B would be my guess here for the side of Catface.
It would make sense. But Rosie kind of, by slipping into the space, they've identified that no one stepped into mid. Didn't hear loud rotates either. By now, Seal's ultimate has run out. Rosie has the one gun on this side of the map. But 10X are hedging their bets, and by not being in the stack here anymore, they kind of give up their ability to overwhelm with a quick retake. Let's see what Rose can do. Over to Market, stepping out 1-for-1. That is not enough. And Seal's already been chipped away at. Classic out. There's nothing you can do in a situation like that. And this round starts to slip away as soon as Catface decided to slow things down, force 10X to make a decision. That was their downfall.
There's a recon to work with here for Super Sushi. Aftershock too, but overall, this round should be a clean round win here for Catface.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, line them up, knock them down. 3 on the round for Icy. And with 3 ultimates still online, Catface could get some momentum moving here.
They absolutely could. We've seen some of the the set plays that they had when the Waylay ult has been up previously. That was on defense last time around with that walk down over towards mid, and they tried to pop that ult over at A. Wonder what the game plan is going to be this time, though. Maybe trying to deny the value out of that reach utility, force JJ off the angle early on, have that fallback occur, but it looks like another mid lean.
Quick dive up forward from Seal, but didn't spot Luna on the close corner. Rosie now just being toyed with. That Waylay is having too much fun diving in and out of smokes, and back to the rest of her team. Catface have gotten away with so much there in mid.
And that's somewhere they're always contesting on the attack as well. They start very early outside of tiles, looking to ensure that 10X doesn't get that early positioning. Slow things down here outside of B, though, with the vines.
Yeah, the thorns and the wall, a little bit annoying. Baiting out that wall and still getting a shot off is crazy. Little 1-2 punch. They take their time with it, but eventually work their way into the site, and I think 10X might be best off saving here. That's without using any ults, by the way, too, Ash.
Yeah, it's huge that they're able to keep those carrying it forward into the next few rounds as they close this gap up against 10X. Just now, after this, it'll just be one round before they can tie things up 10-10. The rest of the team have their pockets hurting, so it be curious to see what they're going to be able to scrape together when it comes down to weaponry for the rest of the squad.
Well, let's see if they can hold on to these 2 guns to begin with.
Last player standing.
Well, let's see if they can hold on to 1 gun to end with. There we go. Sober Sushi will get 1, and Sober Sushi has been a bright spot for 10X, even in some of these more difficult rounds. Has been locked in. Just look at the minimap. I mean, the hunters are moving. Looking for their prey. Sober Sushi boosted up high. We can't see the crosshair. Sober Sushi could, but it's not enough to actually win out in that fight. We are now within touching distance, 10-9.
Yeah, even more so doable considering it's going to be that save that 10X are pushed onto now. No rifles to carry over. That's got to hurt, especially after they had so much momentum on their side. The second timeout to be called from this team, and I feel like that is also a potential really good sign for them. We saw how much success they found off the back of that first timeout.
7 in a row last time.
You can only hope that they're able to repeat that kind of success before MEOW try to close out the map.
Yeah, surely it's just that easy. Call a timeout. Say exactly the thing that will just make you win every round in the future, maybe. We'll see if they can start here on the eco. I mean, things that they could play for, JJ is 1 off the Rolling Thunder, and I think with the amount of control 10X have put with like the early stun, dart, one way into A, just snapping up that A orb shouldn't be too difficult for them if they wanted to have some kind of a shot in a late round situation this time if they got a pick.
I think what's interesting is the last couple of rounds that we've seen as well. We actually haven't seen the same conditioning that they were doing with that initiator utility outside of A. to set Seal up on the angle. They've tried to be a little bit more
Oh, this is a nice spot.
adaptable with the fault line. JJ ready to throw that out either over towards A or mid off of whatever contact or sound ends up being heard. I feel like the last few rounds we've seen both initiators with like nearly their full kits up, while the rest of the team has been dead. So I'm looking for them to play a little bit tighter with their duelist.
We're going flying. Lunafox already breaking the wall on the other side of the map too. Seal pushed all the way through B. And that's only going to invite Catface to get further and further into the A site. 5 players will survive for the post plant. And then it comes down to whether or not 10X can cut down on some of these lines. Ultimate deep into enemy territory. There goes Lunafox. Everyone getting involved, but a great shot out of Sober Sushi. We'll give 10X the numbers advantage. All of a sudden, things start to look doable. By dealing with that early aggro, swing across, and it's just crispy. Out of Sin, 1 HP is all she'll need. As Noah Dart, a little bit extra layers of stall. Stuns up, but Animal is still going to be holding her shoulder. No problems, except for Sober Sushi. 3 on the round, but we are all tied up.
What a way to do it here from Catface. They completely shifted the momentum from that long streak that 10X were able to string together. But now back onto a bye here for 10X. They do have the Rolling Thunder available that you were talking about, charging up last round. And just 1 away from that Steel Garden here as well. Main ult that we can look forward to here on the side of Catface is going to be the Hunter's Fury here for Sin.
Go, go, go!
They do enjoy this early mid control just to deny any mid aggression on the side of 10X. Make sure they can break market door early on.
Yeah. A quick slide there, too. You can sometimes see underneath the door as it's closing. Some little feetsies running off into the distance. Get a few pot shots in. But we're here ready for a relatively quick B split. If a fight opens up, and it's exactly there for Icy. One way, and Thorns stalls out B main just a little bit, but those Thorns might have even been down a little bit too early. Now they've gone away the same time the market players are starting to activate, but nice little headshot there from Eli. Now a Steel Garden to stop the forward fight. Could be enough to buy time for rotates to come on through.
They might have the site, but they don't have the spike. They have to go and reclaim that over towards bottom mid, losing honestly precious time as the rest of the 10X makes their way over towards B.
Yeah, they're ready, and don't forget there's a Rolling Thunder ready to go.
Enemy mark.
The second this spike goes down, JJ getting called over and out. And 35 seconds, is Animal thinking about maybe using a teleport onto the other side of the map? It certainly seems that way. TP into A now. While this lurk creeps on up and Habibti goes down, Lunafox activating.
What?
Can't react to Eli in the corner, so Catface seem to have called themselves out of the round. Animal is all on her own. Sin is so far away. There's still 4 players alive for 10X. Still a Rolling Thunder if they want to bring that online.
Hunter's Fury.
Cover going out.
Yeah, Sin could respond, but I think Sin needs to find a timing to approach from the backside, giving away her position. But Animal now trying to isolate those fights who won't be there. 10X were put in an uncomfortable position, but they reacted perfectly in the late round to everything Catface were throwing at them.
I like the idea that we saw from Catface. They take that pause on B. Sure, it's the fumble where they have to go and get that spike back over towards bottom mid. But there was great position over for that the rotation cutoff from Habibti, right? And then you have the from the shadows popping over towards A from Animal. All Habibti really had to do was sit behind that vice wall, not trigger it, to try and catch somebody off guard, as opposed to, I think, biting off a little bit more than she could chew in that moment.
Going to be a bit of a wake-up call for Catface that had strung together 4 rounds in a row. But they'll stick to much of the same, breaking the door early on. Problems could arise here with a fault line. Ready to go. Off of Seal's contact. Executed before a chance even comes in to support on the stun. So now 10X pressured. Paranoia comes out early. I mean, 10X are revealing their position all around the map, and that makes sense with Neural Theft coming online as well. Catface can react to that and regroup back into A. And they're not even masking this at all. They're moving so quickly. Those duelists are all over the map, up into pawn, creating pressure, maybe even pulling out an early rolling thunder.
Spike planted.
And Ultimate to try and get back onto the site quickly, but 10X still have to wait a little bit for Eli to get there.
Playing for the extremities, expecting that ultimate to come through.
Here it comes, but doesn't even hit a single player. Yeah, it hits the Cypher back in spawn, but there's still so many players left on site. Lunafox up into the thick of things, pinged up by the dart, and falls eventually. Now Catface pushed away from the site. Even with 4 alive, they've got to fight. They've got to get their guns out and get into this somehow. Sin puts away the Hunter's Fury because they're the only player left. Sin's got to get in there. She's got to do something, and it's not going to happen. Rosie shuts her down, putting 10X on map point.
This is insane. The way that 10X are making these adjustments up against MEOW's game plan is so well read into these retake scenarios, and the discipline to wait for the rest of the team to rotate as well has been so nice to see. And then for Catface, I feel like we see a lot of success on those early engagements, but once they get into those post-plant positions, we're not seeing like the crossfires that we want from each player. It feels like a little bit of over-peaking at times, taking some of those risks. Of course, that round, a little bit of a different story with how they were forced off the site, but...
Back to the main fight. This time, doesn't fall immediately, and Seal is going to capitalize off of that beautifully. 1 for 1 as Icy finds the trade. But still, no Cypher makes you so concerned about the extremity lurks.
That definitely does. I think it's kind of surprising as well that we haven't really seen Catface go for that early Vice Wall trigger over towards top mid, even though they'll invest like a top mid smoke, even one on the right side, try and bait like a potential lurk, but Catface gives it away.
Chip onto Annie. 44 HP. And look at this flank. 2 players all the way back in spawn. It's going to come in so much faster than Catface are expecting, and the map is nearly slipping away from them. Fighting forward seems to be the only solution for Catface, but they've got to be worried about their back. And no one's looking at it. No one's ready. JJ with 1. JJ with... No! Sober Sushi steals those away from JJ. Right on top of him. And that'll be 10X taking map number 1. Nothing that can be done about that. Great work out of 10X on their map pick.
They're looking great right now from 10X, really taking that momentum